She expected humiliation. They expected her to break. But when the slap echoed across the auditorium, she stood up, lifted her chin, and unleashed a truth so powerful it set the entire school on fire. Before you dive into this life-changing story, hit subscribe for more shocking, emotional, twist-packed stories that keep you reading till your heart stops. The slap wasn't just loud, it was the kind of sound that slices through air, freezes crowds, and rearranges destinies, and that's exactly what happened when Rachel Lynn, the quiet girl with second-hand shoes and a backpack patched more times than her heart, was struck across the face by Harper Vale, the school's self-crowned queen and the daughter of the richest man in Brookwood Heights, right in front of 200 students gathered for the annual Student Leadership Assembly. And in that moment, as whispers erupted like sparks around dry wood, something inside Rachel didn't break the way everyone expected. Instead, something awakened, something sharp, steady, and unshakably fearless, though no one in the gym could have predicted the chain reaction this single slap would unleash. Not the students with phones raised, not the teachers pretending they didn't see what was happening, and definitely not Harper, who had no idea that the girl she tried to humiliate had been living with a secret so explosive it would upend the entire school's hierarchy and expose every hidden cruelty that had thrived under Harper's reign for years. It started that morning when Rachel stepped into the gym to set up the AV system as she always did, quiet, unnoticed, practically invisible, and Harper, furious because her speech PowerPoint was glitching, decided the easiest outlet for her rage was to blame the tech help girl. Even though Rachel wasn't responsible, the insult started small, a shove, a hissed accusation, but when Rachel calmly asked Harper not to touch her again, Harper's pride, bloated, fragile, always hungry, cracked, and she delivered that humiliating slap meant to reduce Rachel to nothing. But instead of cowering, Rachel straightened, touched her stinging cheek, and said in a voice steady enough to cut glass, "Thank you," which confused everyone, including Harper, who blinked fast as if trying to decide if she misheard. But Rachel continued, her words flowing with the practiced precision of someone who had waited years for this moment, "because that slap, it proves everything I'm about to expose." And suddenly the entire gym fell into a hushed, electric silence as Rachel reached into her backpack, pulled out her phone, and tapped the screen to project a file onto the massive display screen above the stage, revealing a catalog of audio clips, video recordings, screenshots, and digital logs that Rachel had quietly collected over the last 3 years, documenting not only Harper's bullying but the entire network of lies, threats, intimidation tactics, cheating rings, test paper thefts, charity fund embezzlement, secret parties, under-the-table favors, and administrative cover-ups that no one dared talk about because Harper's father funded half the school's programs. Gasps exploded. Someone dropped their phone. A teacher cursed under their breath. Harper lunged toward Rachel, but Rachel stepped back and triggered the first video, a crystal-clear clip of Harper mocking a disabled student behind the gym, laughing with her sidekicks as they destroyed his watercolor project. That alone was enough to turn half the crowd against Harper. But Rachel wasn't done. She played another, Harper threatening a freshman until he agreed to do her homework, then another, Harper bragging that the principal would never touch her because of who her father was. Harper screamed at Rachel to stop, to delete everything, to shut off the projector, but Rachel moved with mechanical calm, her voice growing stronger as she explained that she had installed a hidden cloud backup, that all this evidence had already been sent to the district board, the local newspaper, the PTA, and the superintendent. Harper's face drained of color. Her legs wobbled. Students who once worshipped her now stepped away as if she was radioactive. But Rachel didn't just expose Harper, she exposed the entire toxic system that let her thrive, revealing teachers who ignored complaints, counselors who buried reports, and administrators who manipulated files to protect donors' children. Harper snapped, actually snapped, and charged Rachel, but before she could reach her, someone unexpected blocked her path. Jennifer Meadows, Harper's own longtime friend and silent partner in much of the bullying, who whispered, in a voice trembling with guilt, "Stop. She's right. We went too far," and the shockwave from that betrayal rippled across the gym as more students began speaking, May confessing that Harper spread rumors that led to her panic attacks, Elijah admitting that Harper blackmailed him with photos, 2 juniors revealing that Harper forced them to sabotage another student's science project, and suddenly Rachel wasn't alone. For the first time, she wasn't the quiet girl in the corner but the spark that ignited a revolution. The principal tried to intervene, but Rachel calmly reminded him that she had recordings of him dismissing her complaints, and his face fell like a collapsing tower. Chaos swirled around, teachers whispering, students crying, Harper screaming that they were all ungrateful traitors, but then Rachel delivered the final blow, not with a video, not with evidence, but with the truth she had held closest to her heart. "I know what it feels like to be unheard, unseen, treated like nothing," she said, her voice cracking but strong, "but I won't let anyone else feel like that ever again." And that was when the students, hundreds of them, began to clap, slowly at first, then louder, until the gym transformed into a thunderous roaring wave of applause, drowning out Harper's shrill protests. And as school security escorted Harper away, tears streaming down her face, the hierarchy that had ruled Brookwood Heights for years crumbled in an instant. After that day, everything changed. Teachers were disciplined, administrators were replaced, mental health programs were put in place, anti-bullying policies were rewritten, and Rachel, once invisible, was asked to lead the new Student Justice Council. But despite all the recognition, she never bragged, never gloated, never sought revenge. She simply used her newfound influence to lift others the way no one had lifted her. Months later, during graduation, Rachel stepped onto the stage, not as the girl who got slapped, but as the girl who transformed humiliation into justice. And when she gave her speech, the entire auditorium stood for her, even the parents who had once dismissed her as a nobody. And among them, Harper, now in mandated therapy and community service, stood quietly in the back, eyes red but calmer. And after the ceremony, she approached Rachel, not with arrogance, but with trembling sincerity, and whispered, "I'm sorry." And Rachel, who had never hated her, only what she represented, nodded and replied, "Be better." And for the first time, Harper didn't argue. Rachel walked out into the sunlight that day not as a victim, not as a hero, but as a reminder that sometimes it takes a single act of cruelty, a single slap, to awaken the courage that changes everything.